Welcome to our channel. Here, our mission is to bring you the best films from around the globe, presented in the most captivating way possible. We understand that not everyone has the time to watch lengthy films, so we've taken it upon ourselves to condense these movies into short, engaging summaries. Our team of experts takes movies that are 2 hours or longer and distills them into 10 to 15 minutes. These summaries are crafted to retain the core essence of the story, ensuring that you don't miss out on the key lessons and insights each film has to offer. Whether it's a heartwarming drama, an action-packed thriller, or a thought-provoking documentary, we've got you covered. What you can expect: diverse movie selection. We bring you movies from various genres and languages, offering a rich and varied cinematic experience. Engaging summaries. Our summaries are designed to be engaging and informative, capturing the essence of each film in a concise format. Key lessons and insights. Beyond just summarizing the plot, we highlight the important themes, lessons, and takeaways from each movie. Global reach. Our channel features movies from different cultures and regions, providing a global perspective on cinema. Time saving. With our condensed summaries, you can enjoy the best parts of a movie in just a fraction of the time. Join us on this cinematic journey as we explore the best films from around the world. Whether you're a movie enthusiast or just looking for a quick, engaging way to enjoy great stories, our channel has something for everyone. Tune in and experience the magic of movies, summarized just for you. The series begins in Germany with a unique hitman named Jackal. Disguised as an elderly janitor named Ralph, he infiltrates a large corporation. It's clear that Jackal has a mission inside this company, and to execute it, he resorts to disguise. He enters an office under the pretense of cleaning it, but in reality, he is setting up the equipment he needs for his task. Suddenly, an employee walks in and starts shooting at a security guard outside. The sound of gunfire reaches Beirut, who sees what's happening and joins the attack, eliminating everyone around him until he finally reaches his target, a young man. But who is he? He turns out to be the owner of the company and the son of German political candidate Manfred. Jackal is shot in the leg while on the stairs. However, despite having the chance to finish him off, his attacker settles for the single shot. Jackal then returns to his residence, removes his disguise, and reveals his true appearance: a handsome young man with a cunning and intelligent expression. He is a quiet person, speaks little, and spends most of his time reviewing the messages he receives regarding his missions and checking for new assignments. The next day, we see Manfred visiting the hospital where his son Elias is being treated. It becomes evident that Manfred is widely disliked, with many Germans opposing his candidacy. At that very moment, protests erupt across the city, making it nearly impossible for his car to navigate through the streets. Meanwhile, Jackal is positioned in a high-rise building across from the hospital where Elias is admitted. He assembles his sniper rifle, preparing for his next mission, to assassinate Manfred the moment he arrives. As soon as Manfred steps into the hospital, Jackal fires a precise shot to his head from a distance of over 3,800 meters, executing him with exceptional skill. Afterward, he quickly gathers his belongings and leaves, leaving behind a bomb that detonates among the police officers attempting to track him. It is revealed that Elias's injury was merely a trap to lure Manfred to the hospital, setting him up for assassination. The following day, Jackal travels to France, assuming the identity of a businessman. At the French-German border, security officers search his vehicle but find nothing suspicious, only a rare chess set. When asked about it, Jackal casually explains that he enjoys collecting rare items. Satisfied, the officer allows him to pass after verifying his documents and his legally registered beta car from Germany. Meanwhile, the London police receive a request for cooperation regarding the Manfred case. As authorities recognize it as a highly complex crime, the killer left no traces behind, and the shot was fired from a distance surpassing the record of the world's top sniper by 300 meters. This means they are dealing with a professional assassin who knows exactly what he's doing, evidenced by the fact that they have found no forensic evidence against him. During a police briefing, an investigator named Bianca begins connecting the dots. She deduces that the sniper rifle used in the assassination was custom-made, possibly designed in 2 separate parts to allow for discreet transportation in a small case. She recalls an Irish weapons expert named Stock, who had been attempting to create such a rifle for years, and suspects that Jackal may have acquired it from him. Hoping to find a lead, she informs her team. After the meeting, her superior, Isabel, encourages her and expresses confidence in her abilities. The next day, Bianca visits Allison, the wife of Larry Stock's brother, who has recently been released from prison. She asks, "When was the last time you saw Larry?" Allison, however, insists that she has no information about him and hasn't seen him since his escape. Bianca, realizing that Allison is unwilling to cooperate, plays a different card, threatening to have her sent back to prison if she doesn't help locate Stock. The following day, Jackal receives a message from an unknown sender in Sweden. The message states that their organization is interested in working with someone like him and includes a substantial sum of money deposited into his account. The next day, Jackal travels to Sweden, where he meets a representative of the organization named Zena. He asks her, "Who is the target you want eliminated?" Jackal understands that taking on this assignment will cost him dearly. Zena informs him that the organization has offered him $10 million for the assassination. However, he demands 10 times that amount. She asks for some time to discuss his request with the organization and get back to him. Meanwhile, Bianca receives no response from Allison, who ignores all her messages and refuses to answer her calls. Seeing no other option, Bianca decides to pressure Allison by targeting her daughter Lama. Bianca and her team arrest Lama, fabricating charges against her, including assaulting a police officer. They also deny her the right to legal representation, all in an attempt to lure Allison to the police station. However, something unexpected happens. Allison's mother, who is in prison, suffers a severe emotional breakdown, triggering a heart attack. An ambulance rushes her to the hospital, but despite the doctor's efforts, she tragically loses her life. The next day, Allison calls Bianca, only to learn that the police had denied her access to her daughter and that she had no information about her mother's death. Bianca then tells Allison that if she hands over Stock's number, she will ensure Lama's release. That same day, the forensic report confirms that Allison's mother already had heart problems, which led to the fatal attack. However, this does not absolve Bianca of legal responsibility, as she orchestrated the false charges to manipulate Allison. Realizing the legal trouble Bianca is in, her colleagues hire a lawyer named Carver to help her evade prosecution. They believe the case is becoming too risky and suggest dropping it, but Isabel refuses. She insists that they promised the German authorities they would help track down the sniper. Bianca is then given 24 hours to obtain Stock's number before Allison finds out about her mother's death. Desperate, Bianca reaches out to Allison again, knowing she must send the number that day to secure Lama's release. Meanwhile, Jackal travels to his home in Spain, spending time alone in his office. His wife, Nuria, walks in and asks what's on his mind. He tells her he's dealing with work problems, and she tries to comfort him, reassuring him that staying by her side will make everything better. Nuria has no idea about his real profession in the criminal underworld. The next day, members of the organization that hired Jackal watch a televised interview with Uli, their latest target. During the interview, Uli announces that he is about to introduce a groundbreaking product capable of ensuring economic justice on a global scale. Realizing that this could threaten their interests, they decide to eliminate him before he makes the official announcement. Back in Spain, Jackal is celebrating his son Carlito's birthday with Nuria and their friends. They are all happy and deeply admire Jackal, unaware of his true identity. Meanwhile, Allison meets with Larry and asks him to contact Stock for help with Lama's case. Larry is reluctant, saying he doesn't want to rely on his younger brother every time he's in trouble. However, Allison insists, telling him that this is an urgent matter. She also plans to reach out to Fabio, suggesting that her strategy to get Stock's number relies on this connection. Meanwhile, Jackal receives a message from the organization, requesting that he meet with them urgently. He asks for Nuria's permission to leave, explaining that he needs to travel for work. Nuria insists on driving him to the airport. However, after she drops him off and watches him enter, Jackal changes direction and takes a taxi to his secret meeting with Zena. By sheer coincidence, Nuria spots him getting into the taxi. Suspicious, she immediately calls him, but his phone is turned off. This raises her doubts, making her suspect that Jackal is cheating on her. Upset, she rushes to her mother, who is also deeply disturbed by the situation. Her mother, however, blames Nuria for trusting Jackal too much. While they talk, Nuria's brother Alvaro enters the room. She tells him that their mother acted without consulting her. At that moment, Alvaro, visibly angry, declares that if it turns out Jackal is indeed cheating, he will make him pay for it. At night, Allison discovers that her husband Larry called Stock. She quickly checks his phone without him noticing and takes pictures of the last dialed numbers, including Stock's brother's number. She immediately sends them to Bianca. Meanwhile, Jackal meets with Zaina and learns that the organization cannot afford the amount he demanded. It exceeds their financial capacity. They ask him to proceed with the mission as scheduled, and he agrees, planning to execute the assassination before Uli announces her new product. Bianca tracks Stock's location through the phone number and finds that he is in Russia. She quickly assembles a police team and sends them to capture him. However, during the raid, Stock appears prepared as if he knew they were coming. He fires randomly at the officers, killing 2 of them before escaping in a car. Bianca tries to shoot him to stop him, but none of her bullets hit. Stock manages to flee. While standing near Stock's house, Bianca finds a strange bag on the ground. She takes it with her, while also retrieving the bodies of her fallen colleagues and loading them into the car before leaving. The next day, Allison and Larry receive the devastating news that their daughter Emma has been killed. They rush to retrieve her body. Meanwhile, Bianca's team decides to put her under investigation due to the many problems her reckless actions have caused. One of the investigators mistakenly assumes that Stock is merely the manufacturer of the sniper rifle used to kill Manfred. They decide to close the case, failing to assist the Germans in capturing the true assassin. However, Bianca surprises them. Inside the bag she found near Stock's house is a rifle identical to the one used in Manfred's assassination. This revelation complicates the situation further. Isabel acknowledges the difficulty of the case and allows Bianca to continue investigating, thanking her for her efforts. Larry then grabs Allison's phone and starts searching through it. This leads to an argument, but they eventually reconcile. However, at home, his frustration boils over, and he furiously smashes his phone against the wall. At that moment, Zaina gets scared and tries to run away from him, but he catches up with her and forces her back into the house, treating her harshly. The next day, Nuria tells Alvaro and her mother about the secret safe she found in Jackal's office. They try multiple passcodes based on significant dates, hoping to unlock it, but all their attempts fail. Alvaro then suggests that if they had the purchase receipt for the safe, they could take it to the manufacturer, who might generate a new access code for them. They search through all their documents for the receipt but fail to find it. Meanwhile, Bianca arrives at the police station after more than a week of relentless work without rest. She asks if Bill has done anything regarding Allison, but Anka informs her that Allison is still grieving her daughter's death and is in no condition to cooperate. Isabel notices the exhaustion on Bianca's face. Before she can leave, she receives a secret call from her colleague Kevin, who asks to meet her outside the police station. When they meet, Kevin reveals that an American officer contacted him, saying they needed to find the killer as soon as possible. The officer suspects that the assassin started in Memphis and has since been involved in a series of crimes with politicians. Kevin also shares a disturbing realization. Stock must have known about the police raid in advance because he had his ammunition ready and his escape plan in place. The shocking part? Only 3 people knew about the operation: Isabel, Damien, the undercover clothing vendor, and their leader. This means that either Isabel or Damien must have leaked the information to Stock. If this is true, Kevin warns, they are in serious trouble. He urges Isabel to keep this information to herself for now and not share it with anyone. The next day, Alvaro makes a startling discovery. A mirror in Jackal's office is actually hiding a secret door. At that moment, Nuria realizes that her husband has been concealing a massive secret behind it. Meanwhile, one of Bianca's colleagues finds something on Stock's phone that could help their case. While Damien is in the same room with them, Bianca deliberately sends him to get coffee because she doesn't trust him and doesn't want him to overhear anything. Once he leaves, her colleague reveals that 3 weeks before Manfred was killed, Stock had been in constant contact with a particular phone number. The day their communication stopped was the same day Manfred was murdered. Bianca smirks. If she can identify the owner of that number, she will have a major breakthrough. The problem? The number is registered under the name Jack. The next day, Larry sends Bianca a message from Allison's phone, saying that Allison wants to meet her and gives her the location where he will be waiting. At night, Bianca arrives at the location mentioned in the message, which is by a river. She waits for a long time but is shocked when Larry shows up, tires her out, and injures her arm. Bianca manages to escape before he can kill her and calls her colleague to come and rescue her. Within seconds, Larry reaches her again, but she manages to distract him until the police arrive. Larry jumps onto a boat in the river before he can be caught and escapes immediately. The police then raid his house and act after Larry is done with them. The next day at the police station, Bill asks Bianca if she has found any new information, but Bianca denies it and raises the issue that they have reached RM Jackal. At that time, he calls his brother Stock and asks him to find an address for him to escape to. Stock tells him he will take action and call him back. At night, Binkle returns home after a long day at work and takes a picture of himself pointing a gun at the neck of a girl named Yasmin, kissing her to slaughter her in front of her, just as she caused the death of his daughter Emma. Then he hits her. Bianca shoots him in the leg, then kisses him after he injures her in the neck. Yasmin runs to treat her wound, and Bianca attacks Larry with a gun, threatening to kill him if he doesn't tell her where Stock is. He refuses to tell her and asks her to shoot him. She would have done it if her daughter Yasmin hadn't intervened at the last moment, stopping her from killing him because she was afraid for him. Bianca retracts her decision to kill him and calls the police. Larry is taken to the hospital because of the bullet Bianca shot in his leg. There, Bianca tries to pressure him to confess Stock's location, continuing to press a pillow on his face, making it seem like she is suffocating him to get the information she wants. After a while, Jackal calls Stock and learns that he needs a new sniper rifle with specific specifications to eliminate Ollie, but Stock tells him that his arm is now injured, and he won't be able to make one for him. Additionally, he can't trust anyone to help him make it, so they tell Jackal that he will come to him himself and make a funeral together because he wants it within 5 days. Then we return to Larry, who is forced under pressure to confess to Bianca about Stock's location. Learning that he is in Hungary, specifically in Budapest, he describes the house and neighborhood where he lives, but doesn't know the name of the place. The next day, Bianca learns from secret sources that Ollie is Jackal's next target, but she doesn't know who Jackal is or how to reach him, so she decides to search for Stock as quickly as possible using the specifications Larry gave her about his residence. Jackal arrives in Budapest and Abel Stock is at his home, starting to help him make the sniper rifle he needs. Meanwhile, Bianca receives a call from her colleagues at home, learning that they have managed to locate Stock. She packs her things and heads to the airport immediately. Jackal begins practicing shooting with the new sniper rifle he will use, becoming very good and skilled from the first shot he fires at the training target. The next morning, Jackal sits around the house and calls Bianca and the officer with her, telling them they are entering Stock's house and continuing to call him to warn him. He takes precautions, but at that time Stock is still asleep and can't easily hear his mobile phone. When he wakes up, it's already too late. He tries to find a strong weapon to fight them, but is forced to take a weak weapon due to time pressure. He shoots at the door before the officers break in, but they are not afraid and know the attack. At that time, Stock tries to hide from them, and a shootout occurs between him and them, but they eventually manage to capture him and write it down. Finally, Bianca can ask him about Jackal and discovers that he called him, but Stock denies it and tells her he doesn't know what she's talking about. Meanwhile, Stock is suddenly shot in the head, ending his life immediately. It seems that Jackal shot him from afar because he was afraid of confessing. Bianca leaves Stock's house and continues searching for him in all directions. At that time, Jackal steals a farmer's horse, which is Grand Stock, and escapes. He is in the forest, and the chase between him and Bianca continues. She shoots at him, but he is not hit. The chase continues until night falls and the world becomes dark, causing Jackal to collide with a tree in the forest without noticing. He gets off the horse and continues running until he jumps into a river in front of him. Bianca reaches the river and continues shooting at the water, hoping to hit him, but he completely disappears. Bianca gets very tired, then Jackal comes out of the river and sleeps in the farmer's stable, where he stole the horse. His name is Attila. Attila enters while he is asleep, and as soon as he wakes up, they hit Attila, who stays awake. Gabi wakes up, folds his arms, and kisses himself until he wakes up. This situation is to know his story. After waking up, they take Attila to his house with the sniper who was with him. Jackal tries to negotiate with him, telling him he can give him the amount he wants in exchange for letting him go peacefully, but Attila doesn't. He does not understand the English that Jackal is speaking and tells him that he only understands Hungarian. Gabby reads the message and contacts him, and meanwhile, Gabby calls his assistant Laszlo, who seems to speak English. They both move to the victim's house to negotiate with Jackal. At that moment, Attila approaches Jackal and crosses her arms until she eats him, and here they hit Jackal on the head, causing him to fall. They then stab him with a knife and escape, entering their car in front of the house, which appears not to work at all. However, they don't have time to get out because Gabby and Zal have already arrived and seen the lifeless body. Gabby continues to shoot at the car, breaking its windows, and then approaches the car. It opens, but he is surprised when he is shot in the leg. Then he appears and finishes him off, and at that moment Jackal is still terrified of him, killing him if he had a chance. An Arab says yes, and he goes to take him to the place he wants. On the way, he calls Nuri and tells her that he needs her to bring him his disguise tools from the room she discovered because more than one person now knows his true identity. He then takes Laszlo to the place he wants, and Jackal decides to kill him after discovering that he has a wife and son. He threatens that if anyone from the police points to him, he will send people to kill his wife and son in front of his eyes. Then he leaves him and descends. A few hours later, Nuri arrives at Jackal with the items he requested. Jackal appears before her as an old man, and she takes Nuri to the Estonia airport, and they leave and part ways. He continues his journey there to complete his mission. The surprise is that he gets on the same plane as Bianca because she is traveling to Estonia with her team to be the first to secure the location during the announcement of the new product that will be assassinated. We see a hidden and shocking part of Jack's past. He was a soldier in the British Army and was assigned to spend time with a fellow writer in the community court in Afghanistan. It was revealed that his real name is Doug and that Jack is just an alias. In the present, Bianca discovers in the British Army records that there was a soldier named Dugan, the only one capable of shooting from long distances, as they hear about the crimes of the Jackal during this period. However, she learns that Dugan disappeared after his last mission in Afghanistan when the car exploded with his entire battalion, and he hasn't been seen since. She decides to search for him, especially since they haven't found his body yet. However, Bianca apologizes and says she cannot return. After leaving, she starts thinking to herself and repeatedly tells herself that she will continue with the case, then resigns again. When she returns to the department, she learns that Alvaro has been arrested for killing Jimmy, but was released after proving he was not involved in the crime. Bianca realizes that Jimmy was killed with the same professionalism as the criminal they are searching for and begins questioning her colleagues about Alvaro's life, hoping to reach the criminal through him. It is revealed that Alvaro is Spanish and lives with his sister and her English husband. Bianca becomes certain that her sister's husband is Jackal. She obtains Alvaro's address and travels there with her colleague Vince on the same day. They monitor the house from outside, and as soon as Jackal arrives and enters, they enter the house to arrest him. At that time, Jackal is in his weapons room and receives a call from Zainab, informing him that the police have located him and he needs to take precautions. Jackal begins preparing for any confrontation just as Alvaro arrives home, causing a scene and accidentally shooting Vince's father. Jackal starts shooting at them from above, and Vince shoots back, killing him instantly. Meanwhile, Bianca starts talking to Jackal, offering to help him and understanding that she wants nothing more than for him to confess about the people he works with. Unfortunately, she doesn't realize she is now facing him alone, making her an easy target. Suddenly, Jackal emerges from his hiding place and shows her the final bullet that will destroy her life forever. While escaping, he is hit by a car on the road and suffers a major accident but survives. After some time, he travels to Zainab and becomes her lover to obtain information about their new victim. Nothing happens and he returns to his old ways, ending the series with a grand finale.